Hey everyone, this is Dr. Abrahart here to Shay, and this is part two of Who Am I and What Do I Do that I didn't cover in part one of this message or video. So, the tools that I work with as a hoodoo practitioner, those of you who know about hoodoo, you know that the most important tool in hoodoo is the Bible. Okay? So I use Bible, prayer, music, and other things that I use are seals and sigils. Seals, like the fifth and sixth book of Moses, contain seals. That is a tool that is very influential in hoodoo. And I also work with the seals of Solomon, and I work with sigils. But the main foundation of my work, or the main resources that I use for my work, my practice, is the Bible, prayer, and music. I come from a Christian background, and this is very important for you to understand when you're watching videos or reading books about people who are into spell work, magic, root work, conjuring. You need to understand their background, because you could be watching a YouTube video about how to do a candle spell, but what's the background of that person? That person could be uh, from an Asian background. And so their spell and workings are going to be heavily influenced by Asian culture and Asian religion. Like, you're going to see elements of that in their magic, in their practice. If they are of the Hindu, I subscribe to a YouTuber where I could tell that her background is Hinduism and Hindu gods like Lakshmi, and Shiva. And I can tell that a lot of the workings that she does, she uses a lot of elements that are connected to the Hindu culture. So her results may be magnificent, phenomenal for her, because she's actually integrating her culture into her magic, into her spell work, into her workings. So it's important to know what cultural background the person is coming from. Like, I subscribe to Yayo Botanica on YouTube. She has Botanica in I believe in New York or New Jersey, but her background is like the Orishas. So a lot of her workings is culturally influenced by indigenous practices, African and Native American indigenous practices, because that's her cultural background. So it's important that you know that when you're watching various videos or reading books or listening to podcasts about workings and magic and manifestation, because you need to know what their background is. Because they will be their workings and their magic will be heavily influenced by that. If they're Santeria, it'll be heavily, if it's Voodoo, it'll be heavily influenced by that. New Orleans Voodoo, you'll know it once you study enough, read enough, and then once you observe enough videos, you'll see, okay, this person, their practice is heavily rooted in the Orishas or Ifa or Voodoo or Santeria, or some Cuban or Latina magic or workings. So because people's culture is going to heavily influence what type of magic or rituals that they share with you. So please be mindful of that. Mine will be heavily influenced, if you want to give it a label, Christianity, because that's my lineage. The Bible, the Black church. So I'm going to use tips and strategies and traditions and tools that come from that lineage. So I use the Bible because the Bible tells me a whole lot about how to interact with God, with the Most High. What did the people in the Bible do? They built altars. Oh, okay. They had candles. Oh, okay. They did prayers. Oh, okay. They sacrificed. Oh, okay. They used herbs. Like the Bible tells me how people interacted with God and how they were able to access the favor of God. And so, as the saying goes, success leaves clues. Okay. Where the Bible is telling me how to successfully interact and engage with God, the Most High, the Creator. I use prayer. Everybody knows in the Black church and in most churches, but in the Black church, prayer is a thing. Prayer is a staple in the Black church, especially the praying in tongues. I pray in tongues. I have the gift of the Holy Spirit with evidence of praying in tongues. Or that I have the gift of being filled with the Holy Spirit with evidence of speaking in tongues. I use that in my practice. In the Black church, is heavy on healing. I use that in my practice. I heal, whether it's through distance healing, whether it's healing through prayer, whether it's healing through, using herbs and candles. I heal. I lessen the suffering of people. Music. We all know that the Black church would not be the Black church without the choir, without the music ministry. So music, especially gospel music, is very influential in my workings and in my practice. Now I do listen to like R&B and rap and hip hop. Um, I listen to all genres of music. I'll listen to my affirmation music, some binaural beats, some frequency music, but I'm gonna listen to some gospel music because that puts me in tune with my ancestors, with my spirit guides. So these are the tools that I use. Like I said, I also use seals and sigils. Those more so are like images that I may draw on a petition paper and place underneath a candle, or I may actually draw the sigil on the candle. Um, or like I said, in Hoodoo, the fifth and sixth books of Moses has sigils in there that Hoodoo practitioners work with in their practice. But these are my fundamentals: the Bible, prayer, and music. Currently, I've incorporated the Psalms, psalmic magic into my practice. And I've been learning under Ariel Gatoga, Ariel. That's the first name, Gatoga, Gatoga. He is on YouTube as well. You can go check him out. But psalmic magic. We already know, though, in Hoodoo that the Psalms is the go-to book in Hoodoo. But he gives a different perspective of Psalms. He goes deeper into the Psalms and how to really dive deep with the Psalms and interpret the Psalms on an occult level. So I integrate what I have learned from him with Hoodoo, and it's, oh my goodness, it's like working. I just completed one cycle with the Psalms, and I see it. I have seen the results of it. So I'm incorporating working with the Psalms on a deeper level, and then I want to work with the seals of Moses on a deeper level. So these are my go-to tools. My basis is under the tenements of Christianity. Now, do I call myself a Christian? Do I adhere to the dogma and theology of Christianity? No, not the way man has presented it. No. I approach Christianity from a metaphysical point of view. Now, it does not mean that I won't attend a church service and enjoy church. It does not mean that I won't listen to a pastor or a minister preach or um, watch Christian TV. It doesn't mean any of that. It just means that I'm not enslaved to the dogma of Christianity, that the way man has presented it. I won't become, a member of a church and get involved in that anymore. But I will attend one. I will enjoy the experience of a black church any day. Because I understand that that's what my ancestors adhered to, and I understand where my help comes from. And I understand the power of the black church. And I understand that I can use that power in what I do in my everyday practice. And I will not disown that power, but I will integrate it and leverage it and elevate it to be of service to humanity, to be of service to myself and to and to humanity. So that has been part 2 of who I am and what I do, just so you can be aware to just really pay attention that when people are showing you how to do different spells and different workings, make sure you understand from what cultural perspective they're coming from, because they are coming from a cultural perspective. You just have to watch enough of their videos or read enough of their books to know what culture they're coming from, and to understand that results may vary. They're going to have different results than you are because this is their culture. This is who they are. This is where, how they grew up, or this is where they can trace their lineage to, or this is their environment. This is their background. This is, what they see on an everyday basis as far as their culture is concerned, and their traditions and their customs and their behaviors is based on their cultural background. So their results are going to be different than yours. Not saying it's not going to work for you, but you have to understand that culture plays a big role in the results of our manifestations. Because it's some things as a Latino, of a person of Latino descent, a descent, it's some things that they know when it comes to manifestation and ritual and magic and their custom that I don't know. They're gonna add a little something to it that just comes naturally to them because it's part of their culture that I don't know and that I don't have. And that's okay. But you need to be aware of that. Okay? Because even when someone is showing you their work, how to do a particular working, like, they're not going to show you everything, because sometimes they can't show you everything because some practices are closed. So they are add things, to the spell or working that they are not allowed to share with those outside of the practice. But they are just giving you the basics, and then you can tweak it to how it can fit you and your circumstance and your environment. So please be mindful of that. And that's even with me. It's some things that I'm not going to share because it's just part of the hoodoo practice and it's closed. It's not for everyone to know. And it's also just a part of my culture of being a black woman in America. Being a black woman in Detroit, Michigan. Practicing hoodoo in Detroit, Michigan is different than practicing hoodoo in New Orleans. So I may do some things that somebody in New Orleans may not do, and vice versa. But we will share with you the fundamentals to get you started. And then as you get started, your ancestors will tell you what to add for your particular lineage and for your particular people and for your particular sphere of influence who you're meant to help. So I hope this has been helpful. I know that this has been helpful in some way, shape, or form. And I thank you so much for listening to part 2 of who I am and what I do. Until next time, stay blessed and stay aware. And as always, here are my resources, tools. You can go to my website, tiadeshay.com. You can download my app, Mirrored Moments. Also, if you go to Amazon and Lulu, you can purchase my books. Just type in Tia Deshay and you can purchase my books. And obviously, you know that I'm on YouTube at Mirrored Moments. And you can like, subscribe, share, and donate. The donate button will be in the description box. And until next time, stay blessed and stay aware.